views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the authors. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Well, he signed, there's 3 bills. He signed 3 bills into law. Okay? The first one, so this is important that people understand this. This is where it gets so confusing, okay? All right, Jeremy, because I know where you're going on, but the law says this, okay? That you could smoke recreational weed. Weed is now legal in New Jersey. You understand that? Okay? You have to be 21 years of age to smoke pot.
Have to.
Listen to me. This is the first part of the law. It says you have to be 21. You could possess up to 6 ounces, right? And if you have without a penny, even a minor ticket, like so you could have that. Now, much like alcohol, a marijuana user can still be charged with DWI and blah blah blah. I'm just going fast here. Now, so it says, and while marijuana is only legal for adults under 21 years of age, okay,
Wait,
right?
What does that say?
It says, look, and while marijuana is only legal for adults over 21 years of age. So, and while marijuana is only legal for adults over 21 years of age, a third legal weed law essentially decriminalizes both underage marijuana and alcohol use. Even if they observe the underage person using marijuana in plain view, this is the police, they cannot conduct the search. Police officers can only issue a written warning to the underage user and must have their body cams turned on at all times, according to the law. In the press release, the New Jersey State Police Benevolent Association said the bill handcuffs police officers. This statute adds so much guesswork and uncertainty that we would advise our members throughout the state to take no law enforcement action regarding marijuana or alcohol use by the party, by any party in the state. So what I'm saying is the law is supposed to be over 21. That's how it was passed. They came down and said, yeah, it's still there, but we're going to decriminalize it, and it's not delinquent. So I don't know. Then that means
what's a law when you've decriminalized it? Nothing?
Right.
Is it even a law anymore? Like, are we just...
Okay, that's my point.
That's my point.
Right, so now, listen, but the practicality of this. Now, let me make a point. This is 2021. There's legislation now in New Jersey to push back on this, to at least let the parents get a warning. You understand something? If your child is caught with marijuana, according to this law, and they're under 21, 18, 14, 15, whatever, the cops can't even give you issue a warning, but they can't even tell the parents. Now, supposedly there's legislation that warning has to go to the parents and all that, but it's still not illegal. It's still not it's not criminal, and it's not delinquent. So what message do you send to the kids? Smoke it. If I'm 12, 13, 14 years old, right? If I get caught back in the day,
not just that though, Mike.
Alcohol too.
Alcohol as well.
So if you get caught with that stuff, your parents should be told about it.
So now we're not
you
talking
get
about
in trouble.
something...
You get grounded. You get your phone taken away. There's none of that.
Yeah, but see, adding alcohol into that sentence, now we're not talking about something relatively new.
No.
Being we're talking about some tried and true laws that don't mean anything for a certain particular age group.
And if you what about vaping? What about cigarettes? Now, what I want to make a point of, so we understand the law now. Now, there is people trying to change it. I don't know if it changed. There was some bills that were unanimously voted by the legislator and supposedly went to the governor's desk. I don't know if they were signed. As of this summer, working in where I work on the beach, and I can tell you, it was all over the place. I know no police officers that I know are writing tickets or doing anything for marijuana use. And in fact, some places, if you're smoking, they'll try to give you a ticket for smoking, but if the law is you can't smoke tobacco products. So I don't know where if you could even give these tickets. But here's the thing.
I mean, but here
okay,
you
you
are,
understand?
Here
so
we
you
are
understand?
Trying to teach. We're trying to teach these little kids the importance of laws, what they actually mean, and all of that. And most of these kids don't even know what an ounce is, let alone anything else. I mean, like this is just really ignorant.
Now, but listen to this now. There's politics involved, but listen to this now. Now these kids, now you're encouraging these kids to smoke. They asked me this: does this law encourage children to smoke pot?
Does it encourage them?
Yes.
If they knew about it? Yeah.
No, they all know about it. They know about it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, but
No,
it depends upon
if the cops,
how well.
if they're smoking, and listen, they know. They listen.
I mean, because everybody's got an old brother who's going to give you the down low.
Listen to me. I'm
and
asking you a
tell
question.
you.
The question is, will this encourage people to smoke marijuana?
Yeah.
Younger and younger and younger.
Yes.
There's no reason for them not to if they want to.
Well, you've just given them license to.
Okay, now, here's the thing. Is it illegal? Is it legal? This is the next question you should ask. Go to me. I want to make it because I went. This is the guy right here. Go back to that. This is the guy right here who is deciding all of these policies under the governor. Get me.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Here's the deal. These children who are smoking this, right?
Yeah.
Cannot buy it. This is an important point I want to make. So if you're 21 and older, you can legally buy pot in a dispensary. Mm-hmm. And there's only like 13 of them, whatever. Now, if you're underage, under 21, you can't buy pot.
Right.
But the governor and this attorney general says you could smoke it. It's not against the law. It's not criminal. It's not delinquent. So where are you going to get it? So they're telling you it's okay to use. Yeah. Where are you going to get it, Jeremy? Where are you going to get it?
I'll tell you where.
Where?
From a pot smoking drug dealer.
Right, a drug dealer.
And I'll tell you why.
That's
why.
Good. That's
okay.
Good. Yeah, why?
Because I've actually I think about this stuff. Well, now that marijuana is so easily attainable in this state, you can just go to any old vape store and you can get the herb, you can get a cartridge for vaping, you can get anyhow you want, right? So but
you could get a drug dealer, right?
But what I want to express is, and you're getting it for pretty much about 50% less than what you would have on the street. Okay. So now you've got all of these drug dealers out there that were selling the pot at their normal high prices and stuff, but now they're losing all their customers. Okay, and you're going to find that those drug dealers, just to move their product, are going to be looking toward younger groups.
Right. Well, here's what happens is you talk about gun violence in the cities.
This is going to trigger a lot of things and a lot of pieces moving.
Remember, what's happening too at a lot of these with marijuana is they're putting fentanyl in it, spicing it up. You're going to encourage drug dealers. Now that's why you look at Philadelphia, New York, where the gun crime is out of control. It's what it is. It's the gun crime in the cities, to me, is drug deals. It's always been. I trained in the city in Philadelphia. It was the crack cocaine wars. They were killing each other. You just opened up a huge market in New Jersey for children. It's like the mafia. You think about it. They're selling. Remember, the Corleone says we're not going to sell to kids.
Yeah.
They're selling. They are making it legal for children to smoke. Mm-hmm. They're taking the parents. The parents are not allowed to get involved. The police can't do anything. In fact, the police, if they tell the parents, they could get a locked up. Mm-hmm. So you're encouraging it. Now, people say, Mike, what's the big deal? What's the problem with pot? What's the big deal? Why can't you do pot?
Yeah, because the drug dealer is going to say, well, if the cops' hands are tied and nobody cares, then why should I?
All right. So let's go back to so right here. First, let's talk. Is marijuana safe? This is why I'm telling, because people out there are going to understand. Your kids are smoking the shit out of this. There's nobody going to stop them. The police are not going to stop them. Maybe in school, and that's another thing. I talked to a school teacher. They're like, they have strict no smoking in the schools, but then the kids smoke outside. Or at home. There's
Is marijuana considered smoking?
Yeah,
cool.
well, listen. So let's go. Let's talk about.
But that's how I get like.
Well, we're going to talk about. I got studies here.
I get furious about this stuff because that's the sort of thing all this little minutia that happens when you put these things into play. Like you have to check.
Go. I know. You got to check what you got to.
Well, I mean, because all right, so I can't smoke it here, but I can smoke it over there. But I can't smoke it if I'm this age, but I can smoke it when I'm this age and younger.
Yeah.
And you can't
confusion.
tell the parents and the police don't really even matter anymore because what's the law anyway? I mean,
confusing.
It's madness.
So is marijuana a gateway drug? You could go into a million articles here. I'm just picked a few. This is on the NIH. National Center, okay, this is National Library of Medicine, all right? And this is published, this is an older article, and this is actually Law, Medicine, Ethics, 2022. Cannabis as a gateway drug for opioid use disorder. So what they call, it's interesting how they articulate this. They basically said that there's a diagnosis now where they call marijuana, this marijuana syndrome. But this article focuses, and this is a great article. I'm going to go to the bottom here at the end of it. I just want to show you what it says here. This is, and I could show you.
That's a lot of text for those of you watching on.
But I could give you 100. I could give you
podcast.
I could give you. I want to show this, but I'm going to talk about it. This is an article, and I can show you 20 of them. This article will focus on a lot of concerns that cannabis use among adolescents can act as a gateway to harder drugs such as opioids. Long described by drug policy reformers, the gateway hypothesis poses that a drug such as cannabis could lower the threshold for addiction. Let me say that. Pot could lower the threshold for addiction or other substances such as opioid. Behavioral and developmentally, it is clear that many of the shared root causes, genetic predisposition, trauma, unstable psychiatric syndrome, thrill-seeking, impulsivity, delayed discounting, blah, 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 that increase in individuals' likelihood of using cannabis also increases the same individual's likelihood of opioid use. So this is a lot of studies. So in summary, several converging lines of inquiry have shown that adolescents and young adults, this is up to 24, brain development is key to executive functioning and behavioral control, that cannabis can change adolescent gene expression and alter these key periods of neurodevelopment, that genes can predict the primary impact of cannabis on opioids, and that there is likely individual variations of risk of cannabis use in adolescents having a deleterious effect on adolescent brain. I know it gets into it, but variable exposure and addiction. So basically what they're saying here, this is a very complicated article. I just want to throw it out. 20 of these articles, it is a gateway drug. In certain people, it's going to open up the floodgates. And if you read, it pushes you into, it gives you, people who smoke marijuana are more likely to drink alcohol, heavy duty, and cigarettes. But to say that it's not a gateway drug, and it does screw around your head, okay? Yeah. So this article, if people want to grab this, I just want to throw it out here. And it was an article, and this article here is medical ethics manuscript, and I'm trying to think who the author was. Arthur Robin Williams. Oh, Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame what happened to him.
Yeah. So get rid of me here. Let me go back to me. Let me find another article. So is marijuana a gateway drug? I can tell you right now, there's a lot of articles to say that it is a gateway drug. We talked about it, and I know when you're smoking this pot, what they're doing too, you know how it's a gateway drug too? They're putting fentanyl in it. They're spicing it up.
I mean, these next two things here, I can answer that right for you. It's addictive, yeah, it is.
All right.
Brain health, yeah, it affects it.
All right. So let's go back to the video. Yeah. So let's go. So I just want, but we got to show these articles. So this is an article here, and this is American Addiction Centers. Okay, it's an article here. This was published. I'm trying to see when it was published. This was December 2nd. This is just recently. Yeah, December 2nd.
Do we need an article to show us that it's addictive?
Yeah.
I don't think we do. I think at this point we all know it is.
I got 20 people. Listen, Jeremy, I have people that tell me it's not addictive. I have people tell me it's not. I have people argue with me.
I want to meet these people.
I'll bring them in here.
Point of view is even valid to begin with.
I'll bring them in here. These people don't believe this. The people who made the laws in New Jersey don't believe this. Yeah. Okay, so listen. That's why we have to prove it. You think it's obvious in your mind?
No, because these are probably the same people that think germs don't exist.
Listen, most kids don't think it's addictive.
Yeah, because they're kids.
Right,
They don't
exactly.
know.
Okay, so marijuana can be problematic for some individuals
And you
who
know
use
what?
it.
No, I take that back. All kids know. I had assemblies where they brought in a police officer and they brought in a drug user.
Right,
Okay?
right.
And that drug user showed you everything the drugs did to him.
Right.
That was wrong. Kids know.
Right. Well, I can say,
Everyone knows.
Jeremy, if parents don't know, hopefully we're getting to some people out there. So listen to this. So here it is right here. Despite relatively widespread perceptions that would suggest otherwise, so frequent marijuana use is associated with the development of psychological dependence, a distinct withdrawal syndrome, and addiction. I used to hear people say, "Oh no, you get a habit, but there's no addiction," and it's bullshit. And here is marijuana this is a definition is a mind altering substance derived from the flower. We all know that. This is I'm on the internet. I'm sorry, guys. So
we gotta start printing these out instead. I think.
Yeah.
Just
Get me out
about
of here.
them.
No, it's a good article, but the let me just try one more time to get it here before we get I might. So this article here is addictive, and it's definitely addictive, and effects of marijuana. You could read all these articles, but I want to make a point. There's 20 articles that I could pull up. Okay, just pull me back up here, Jeremy.
Oh.
Right here it says it is estimated that 1 in 10 adults who use marijuana will develop a cannabis use disorder. That's the new word now, cannabis use disorder. And it says here, marijuana accounts for nearly half of admissions into substance use treatments for youth between the ages of 12 and 17. So, it's not addictive. But they have to be put into facilities.
I know it's addictive.
Yeah, but you understand, parents don't know this. And why do we have laws? If it's so addictive, why does the state of New Jersey give kids a pass and not let police tell their parents or give them a ticket? Why can't we give them a ticket? Why can't we stop it, okay? So withdrawal symptoms, significant discomfort, distress may lead to person to return to marijuana use to avoid experiencing withdrawal symptoms. All right, you could close me down on that one. So getting back here, it's a gateway drug. This is no doubt about it. I've been talking about. I have people yell at me today, Mike. It's not a gateway drug. It's not a gateway drug. I smoked marijuana for 20 years. Well, you know what? I asked these guys, when did you start smoking? Oh, I was 20, 25. These kids now are smoking at 12, 13, 14, 15. It's a different mind. And the marijuana is very, very powerful. It's a heavy-duty drug. It's addictive. People will argue with me and tell me it's not addictive. It's addictive. You agree it's addictive.
Yeah, it's addictive. Of course it's addictive.
All right, let's go.
To say otherwise is absolute stupidity, to be honest with you.
Then there's a lot of
people have been saying it's addictive forever.
I got people argue with me every day that it's not addictive.
I think the people that are arguing also smoke secretly and they're not telling you.
I got doctors.
And they just...
Listen, I got an orthopedic surgeon buddy of mine. You know what he tells me? He says the problem with his child is that he didn't know how to use his marijuana correctly. This is a father telling me about his son. Why his son had some problems because he had to teach him how to use. He wasn't using his marijuana appropriately.
Remember that commercial from back in the day? And again, this again tells me we've learned all this. Now we've decided to forget everything. We used to have a commercial that was on every frickin' day. It played so often. Everybody saw this thing, and it was a kid, and the father comes in and he's yelling at him, "Where'd you learn how to smoke pot? What are you doing? Where'd you learn how to do that?" And the kids just scream back at the father, "I learned it by watching you, Dad. I learned it by watching you." I mean, this isn't old stuff. This is stuff we knew about. We used to put it up on our TVs all the time. And now for some reason that I can't fathom, we've decided to say, you know what? None of it mattered anyway. And it might, so some people are arguing that it isn't addictive now.
Right.
That means we need to put this back on the TV and more again.
Well, listen to this.
We should never have taken it down to begin with.
So I want to put a point now. You got these young kids. Now, there's a billboard that I saw in Bayville, and there's a Hispanic girl. it says, "Are you pregnant and addicted?" Okay.
Yeah.
So now you got these people thinking, okay, it's not addictive. It's not that bad. It's only, it's a natural herb. And so they're smoking it while they're pregnant. So go to this article here. This is another one. Now, this is out of Harvard University Graduate School of Arts and Science, okay? And this article, when was it published here? Jeremy, you got to understand, I'm a physician, and this is how we work. We do articles. We do peer review articles that are important, and this is how we push our and this was January 16th, 2019. Okay, this is a while ago. And this is about people who are using marijuana. And it says here, relative silence from the scientific community has affected the public opinions on the safety of marijuana. 70% of U.S. women think there is slight or no risk of harm to the baby from using marijuana during pregnancy. Let me just repeat that, Jeremy. You just said it's addictive and all that. Well, you're a minority. It has affected public opinion. The safety of marijuana. 70% of women think, this is what their statistics are, there is a slight or no risk of harm to the baby from using marijuana during pregnancy.
Yeah, because they want to smoke it. Yeah, it's completely self-serving. So
Okay.
yeah, of course they believe that.
Now-
It's the same people that are arguing that it's
Right.
not addictive
Okay.
because it's
Okay.
self-serving.
So
they probably smoke.
Right. So
I smoke, and I know it's addictive.
3 large-scale longitudinal studies, which are good studies, tracked how maternal cannabis use affected their children's development, and they have had surprising, consistent results. So this is 700 pregnant women who use marijuana, 79 to about 200 of those children and adults. Blah 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 blah. And I'm gonna through here. Children of marijuana use were more impulsive and hyperactive, and exhibited behavioral issues, lower IQ scores, and memory problems when compared to children of non-users. These mental health problems persist through their teenage years, where they were significantly more likely to have attention problems and depression. Marijuana exposure children were also twice as likely to display delinquent behavior such as drug use by the age of 14, were more than twice as likely to regularly use marijuana and tobacco as adults.
Yeah, but what's the point of these things? When we have Governor Murphy giving butt clauses into everything.
Right. Go back.
What the hell is the point of this?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now you got a young girl who's pregnant. I got a couple more for you. You got a young girl who's pregnant, and if it's not illegal. So you're 14, 15 years old. You're pregnant. What's the big deal? So let's go back. Now that's the woman. Now this is adolescence, cannabis, and the adolescent brain. And I know but this is biological science. This was another article, January 7, 2020, and this is the risk, and it goes through here. But I just wanted to throw this out. And people could look on our YouTube channel. Can you see that? Can you see it here?
Yeah.
And they're trying to. And this article basically says the same situation. What you said: memory loss, and difficulty studying. And I'm just going to go here. They did the rat data, but I just want. I'm sorry about these things that pop up here. And it's another great story, but it's affecting these kids' brains. And what's interesting to me, Jeremy, they said that that gene variants linked to increased schizophrenia risk were more likely to use cannabis and to use more of the other. It's changing actually the brain chemistry. See, here's the interesting. Clearly, there's something unique about the adolescent brain that makes it specifically sensitive to THC.
Yeah, of course it's going to change. You're introducing something foreign into your body. Of course it's going to make changes.
Well,
whether
but
it's
alcohol.
in the brain or
Here's the thing:
elsewhere.
doesn't look like alcohol does this as bad, or even marijuana.
No, but it still affects your brain.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Jeremy. Yes, but a lot of people say, well, you know what? I've drank when I was younger. I smoked cigarettes. There's a lot of people who are brilliant and smoke cigarettes. They die of cancer, but it never affected their brain. Alcohol, I've seen it cause alcoholic encephalopathy, but marijuana seems to be a lot different.
I don't know. I think if you become an alcoholic, the alcohol's affected your brain.
Let me go here. Now, we talked about...
Nobody goes out intentionally to become an alcoholic.
Okay, so what they're saying here is that mental illness. So this one article, I just want to go through here. This one article, cause and effect conundrum. it's kind of this way, that way, but here's one in Sweden, 45,000 people. They think it could push you into schizophrenia, things like that. But let's not get crazy. Here's the one here. Do you agree with this one? This is cognitive clues.
Cognitive clues.
Right.
Yeah.
Among many parents, educators, and policymakers, cognitive impairment, not mental illness, is the biggest concern. But once again, Observer has not provided definitive answers about whether it changes, its use is temporary or at some point become irreversible. So it's not this that doesn't happen, but is it reversible? And here's one. There's a lot of studies here. Again, you have to be really important. Now, here's one. I don't think there's any compelling evidence that moderate levels of use are going to produce long-lasting kind of effects. This is one person. But the other person comes back and says, we're not sure. My point is, we don't know. If you look at this literature.
What's considered a moderate amount of marijuana? I'd like to know that. What's the difference?
Right. But here's, you know what, Jeremy? And this is a good point here, because I like to be both sides of the coin. So here's one here. This is director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse in Bethesda, Maryland, says that there is enough information to be concerned. The problem with there's enough information to be concerned on the negative side. The problem with marijuana is that we have data right now that go in all directions. What we're doing is building a study to answer the question of whether use of marijuana in adolescence affects the structural and function of the human brain, and whether it actually leads to cognitive and psychological disruption, she says, adding, there's urgency to establish this. But we don't know. But in this state, in New Jersey, they decriminalized it for anyone under 21. It's bad enough that, I'm fine with illegal marijuana. You understand? I'm fine with that. But this governor and in this state said, go ahead, smoke it. Enjoy yourself. Is that right? Now, I know they're trying to change it, and they may have changed, but I think all they're going to do is the parents can know. But it should be illegal if you're under 21. Hard stop. Hard stop. Now, I don't put you in jail, I'll give you a ticket. But my point is, okay.
Before it was legalized.
Go back to the whiteboard.
Before it was legalized, was it illegal to smoke marijuana when you were young?
Yeah, it was always against the law.
No, it was always against the law, and you would actually get probably arrested if you had it.
Yeah, and so I understand about.
So why was all that changed?
Well, because
why can't you legalize it, make it for 21 like they did with alcohol? Okay, right. And then police it properly. Why do we have to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, but we're going to put a but clause in. It's a law, but it's not a law.
Well, what happened was, Jeremy, is that don't
you see how stupid that sounds?
No, I'll tell you why they did it. It says right in the literature. Murphy said that what's happening is that it was disproportionately arresting black youth for smoking pot.
That's stupid.
So the white. Let me finish.
I know.
You asked me the question.
Yeah.
This is serious stuff. You're asking me why. It's in the literature because the police, mostly the white police, were going after the black children and arresting them disproportionately. That was part of it. So they wanted to, in the idea of getting the police out of it, this is what they did.
Where's the proof of that?
That's another argument. I don't have the information right in front. You're asking me the why. I just telling you the why. So again, maybe good intention, but the bottom line is you have a drug that is very dangerous. I'm a doctor. I mean, I see, we talk about it. Now, let me go back to the thing here. There's one more here, okay?
Bear in mind, the same governor was screaming about the importance of wearing masks.
Well, listen, he's all about the science. So let's give him the science. Remember that, watch the science. The science, follow the science.
And now we find out that science they were talking about was beer.
So this is from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, right? Which is, they told us to follow the CDC. So here's the CDC. What are short-term effects of marijuana on the brain? This is CDC, right out of there. You go right there right now. Here it is here. Recent marijuana use, defined as within 24 hours in youth and adults, has an immediate impact on thinking, attention, memory, coordination, movement, and time perception. How much? If you smoke one joint or have a couple puffs, should you be driving a car?
No.
But, okay.
But they do.
Okay.
But they do anyway.
What are the long-term effects of marijuana on the brain? Marijuana affects brain development. Let me repeat that. Marijuana affects brain development, according to the CDC. Developing brains such as those in babies, children, and teenagers are especially susceptible to the harmful effects of marijuana and THC. Although scientists are still learning about the effects of marijuana on developmental brains, studies suggest that marijuana use by mothers during pregnancy could be linked to problems with attention, memory, problem-solving skills, behavior in their children. Using marijuana before age 18 may affect how the brain builds connections for functions like attention, memory, and learning. Marijuana's effects on attention, memory, and learning may last a long time or even be permanent. But more research is needed to fully understand these effects. Youth who use marijuana may not do as well in school and may have trouble remembering things. The impact of marijuana use on the brain depends on many factors. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is the CDC, who the governor in this state threw up our face every time with Corona. So why, if the CDC is telling us this, why did they decriminalize? I'm asking you the question, Jeremy, because I'm just a dumb pumpkin reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon.
I don't know what the frick I am.
So you tell me. So tell me.
All of this, we called. Some of it was called common sense back in the day. Okay, but back in the day, we figured all this out. See, the fact that they're continuing on with this, I feel like I'm complicit in what they're doing because I'm humoring it. Okay, now I've got to re-educate people that marijuana is addictive and that it might be a gateway drug. We've figured all this out. But see, this is what happens when you don't learn from history. We learned all this stuff within my lifetime. Laws were already put into place, saying that this stuff was illegal, all the harms that they could do, and all of that. Now, hold on. Now it's like it's 2023, and guess what, guys? I think now marijuana might be addictive. Let's write papers about it and let's educate people. It's mental, Mike.
Don't you understand, Jeremy?
This is just like.
Right.
If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the freaking problem.
You know what the reality is, Jeremy? We're two white guys yelling into a microphone, and nobody's listening to us.
Nobody's listening. This is
stupid.
Stupid.
I understand that, Jeremy.
You know, and I don't. Yeah. I'm not insulting what you've put together.
I understand.
I'm insulting the fact that you've had to put this together.
Right. It's sad. It's sad that we have to do this,
and I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I know. You should be, and that's why. This is why we're going down the tube again. You could pick up 20 I could get 30 really tight articles on this. This is Stanford Medical, okay?
Yeah.
And this was in April 29, 2022, okay? And this is marijuana linked to heart disease and supplements that talk about may mitigate the risk. But so basically, I pulled this article because I think it was pretty interesting. And the study, so here it is. People who use marijuana have an increased risk of heart disease and heart attack, according to a large study led by the researchers at Stanford Medicine. You guys could go look at this. It's all you could just Google it. It's all over. Tons and tons of papers. The study also showed that the psychoactive component of the drug, known as THC, causes inflammation in the endothelial cells that line the interior of blood vessels, as well as arteriosclerosis in laboratory mice. The inflammation, arteriosclerosis, that's blocking the arteries, by the way. Arteriosclerosis can be blocked by molecule. This is more stages. I'm just going to go here a little bit, but basically,
what does tamp down nausea mean?
Well, when you have
tamp down,
when you have nausea for like say you're having chemotherapy,
is that causing it?
No, it reduces it, lowers it down.
Okay.
So people use that for cancer. In the meantime, smoking marijuana could cause cancer.
Are you sure, Mike? I don't know. We got to check with Murphy.
So the same carcinogens, you could look this up. The same carcinogens that are in marijuana are in cigarettes. Marijuana has a significantly adverse effect on the cardiovascular system, says instructor of medicine Mark Chaney, MD, PhD. As more states legalize marijuana use, I expect we will begin to see a rise in heart attacks and strokes in the coming years. Our studies of human cells and mice clearly outline how THC exposure initiates a damaging molecule cascade in the blood vessels. and it's not a benign drug. It's not a benign drug.
And if you look at the picture right there of Joseph Wu, he's got this smile on his face like he just discovered something for the first time. You didn't.
Right. Here's the thing. THC and inflammation. The researchers analyzed the genetic and medical data of about 500,000 people.
You wasted your life, buddy. We already knew all this stuff.
No, well, we don't know that. You say that, but I don't understand why you say that because
we knew it was bad. It's
No.
like fire.
you're one of the,
Are we going to circle back and discover? Well, I don't know if fire.
No.
Can you smoke fire?
Well, Jeremy, it's funny that because your perspective, but you got to understand. There's 400 million people in this country, and there's billions in the world. Yeah. You look on TV. People will listen to this, and they'll tell us we're conspiracy. There's no evidence. Now listen to this right here. The researchers found that frequent marijuana smokers who also more likely than non-smokers to have their first heart attack before the age of 50. I know 3 people that smoke heavy marijuana and had big-time heart attacks. They got stents, and 6 months later had another heart attack because they kept on smoking pot. Now, the unusual medical event called a premature heart attack that increases a person's lifelong risk of subsequent heart attack, heart failure, and life-threatening arrhythmias can cause sudden death. Inflammation of blood vessels is a primary hallmark of arteriosclerosis. Researchers found that the level of inflammatory molecules in the blood of volunteers who smoke marijuana cigarette increased significantly over the subsequent 3 hours. They further showed that THC promotes inflammation, hallmarks of arteriosclerosis in human epithelial cells. Okay, bottom line is, I don't want to bore you with this, but this is interesting because THC binds to receptor CB1, and you wonder if a lot of these people who died in this country of corona were heavy marijuana smokers. I would like to see that study. That'd be a great study because these young people who died.
That would be great if you're allowed to have studies about that stuff.
Well, that's a good point too. Okay, so here it is. But frequent marijuana use causes inappropriate activation of CBI, which can cause inflammation and arteriosclerosis, and is associated with obesity, cancer, and diabetes. Yeah. I just wanted to go.
Mike, see that, and that's when I
Okay, follow the science. CDC, another article from the CDC, Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention. Okay, CDC, 24 hours, save lives, protecting people. That's their motto.
This is written by Wu again. I'm going to be upset.
Okay, no. This is So this is just one little thing. You go into CDC and ask about marijuana and heart health. This is the government, United States government. Okay, marijuana can make the heart beat faster and can make blood pressure higher immediately after use. It could also lead to increased risk of stroke, heart disease, and other vascular disease. Most of the scientific studies linking marijuana to heart attack and strokes are based on reports from people who smoke marijuana as opposed to other methods of using it. So that's key.
Read that last sentence there, though. That's the big one. Marijuana smoke also delivers many of the same substances researchers have found in tobacco smoke.
Right.
These substances are harmful to the lungs and cardiovascular system.
Right. Smoking marijuana delivers THC and other cannabinoids in the body. Marijuana smoke also delivers many of the same, like you said, substances researchers found in tobacco smoke. These substances are harmful to lungs and cardiovascular. They cause cancer. So I expect to see increased cancer deaths or with long-term use of cannabis. It is hard to separate the effects of marijuana chemicals on the cardiovascular system from those caused by irritants and other chemicals that are present in the smoke. More research. So basically, they're not saying that. They're saying that your smoke, either marijuana or cigarettes, you're going to get increased cardiovascular disease, heart disease, but they're not so sure if it's the smoke itself, the chemicals in there, or the THC, which is interesting. We have an article up there from 1946 where all the doctors were smoking cigarettes. So here, this is the CDC. They're not saying it may be, possibly. They're saying it does. Now, again, if this is at a CDC that our governor and this state followed, why are we letting children smoke it? Why did we decriminalize it? And make it not delinquent or not criminal. Why can't they? Why can't the parents be informed? Why can't they get a ticket? Why can't the cops take it away?
Well, man,
Wouldn't that be?
What does it matter if 40 years from now we're not going to hear all of this again? Like it's the first time we've learned.
What's going to matter is the kids are going to die. We're killing our kids.
Kids already died over this stuff, and we learn nothing from it.
Well, no, we're trying to teach people. I don't know what. I don't know. Again, Jeremy.
As a people,
Let's go.
We should not be where we're at here with this.
You got people.
We should be better. We should be like where's the standard?
Jeremy, how do you fix it? We got to have we have to have these shows on, and we have to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, but you got to keep it up. Like I said back in my day, don't do drugs. Where are your kids? It's 10 o'clock tonight. All this stuff, we put these things in place as constant and gentle reminders to to the people of this country, our neighbors, okay, that these things are wrong. You got to keep an eye on your kids.
Jeremy,
don't do drugs.
Jeremy, we're done. Listen to me. I'm getting more and more that I say we're done. We're just falling down. The federal government, do you
understand
You're done.
Yeah.
Listen, the federal government, instead of saying just no, N-O, they say just no, K-N-O-W.
Yeah. And that in itself speaks volumes.